Vance. Senator, good to be with you. So, according to our correspondent, Dana Marie McNichol, who's on the ground there in Shelby Park and Eagle Pass, no razor wire has yet been cut because the Texas National Guard still won't let Border Patrol into Shelby Park. But ultimately, we all suspect that cutting of the razor wire will happen. And what do you think the ultimate effect of that will be?
Well, the message is pretty clear, John. It's that Joe Biden is threatening the state of Texas from enforcing its border, even when the federal government refuses to do the job for it. It's really astonishing, actually. If you think about Texas dealing with an overwhelming flow of illegal migrants, Joe Biden using the power of the courts, using every tool at the disposal of the federal government to prevent Texas from doing what Joe Biden should be doing, which is enforcing the southern border. What kind of messages does that send to illegal aliens all across the world? It sends the message that America is open for business. We don't have a border. Even our own federal government won't enforce our border laws. So come on in, because America's open.
You know, for so many months, the economy has been the top issue for voters in America. But take a look at this new finding from the Harvard-Harris poll that shows that it has been eclipsed now by immigration. 35% of people say that is their top issue. The next issue is inflation at 32%. Then look at this finding. Should Biden make a deal with Republicans to increase border security? 77% of people, including 65% of Democrats, said yes. And should Biden make it tougher to get into the U.S. illegally? 68% of people, including 50% of Democrats, say yes. And when you take a look, Senator, at the number of people who are coming over the border illegally, more than 300,000 in the month of December alone, how big an issue do you think this is going to be come next November?
Well, it's a massive issue, John. It affects everybody. It affects your family if you know somebody who's died from a fentanyl overdose. It affects your family if you know somebody who's tried to buy a home. Interest rates are too high, and of course, home prices are through the roof. One of the reasons why that is, John, is because you've got 30 million illegal aliens who shouldn't be here, who are competing with Americans for the housing stock that we have in our country. This is a disaster that doesn't just affect the border states. It affects everybody from every act of our shared life as Americans. I know schools in the state of Ohio, John, that are catering to illegal aliens. They're not spending the resources to educate American children because they have to deal with this influx of illegal aliens. So it affects all of us in many different ways. I'm not surprised it's a big issue. What we have to remember, John, is that this is an issue of Joe Biden's own making. He could solve the border crisis tomorrow if he wanted to. He has the tools at his disposal. He just refuses to enforce the laws of his own country. That's disgraceful stuff.
At the same time, the president is saying, hey, this is Congress's problem, that Republicans have refused to work with him on comprehensive immigration reform. And it's pretty safe to say that in this election year, there is no appetite from Republicans in either the House or the Senate to deal with comprehensive immigration reform. Why is that?
Well, I think, John, there's appetite for us to deal with border security. Comprehensive immigration reform, when Joe Biden talks about that, he's talking about amnesty. He's talking about giving illegal aliens the right to be in this country, which, of course, just invites more illegal aliens to come in across our wide open southern border. This is a president who from day one has signaled to the world that he doesn't want to enforce the border of this country. He ended Remain in Mexico, one of the most effective policies of the Trump administration to keep down the flow of illegal migrants. He's done a number of things that have said to the world, come on in, America has an open border. So it's really insane for the president to blame congressional Republicans at the same time that he's suing the state of Texas for enforcing the border. I don't think anybody with common sense buys that. It's the president's fault, and the president needs to stop doing what he's doing.
It'll be interesting to see what our voter analysis in the state of New Hampshire says about this issue as we dig into that as the primary continues today. Senator Vance, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.